I'm really thrilled that you could join us here. Everybody, Maral, for those of you who aren't aware, it's now 8 p.m. in Istanbul. Maral has been gracious enough to join us. So Maral, you had a fantastic career in advertising. Why on earth would you leave advertising to come into real estate where you start with no income?
Yeah, actually I was working in TBWA. It's an advertising agency also in LA. There is the headquarters, maybe some of you guys know. And I was strategic planner, but then I just decided to start my own business. And like the Gary Keller explains in Quantum Leap, I'm a more person like who cares much about the playtime. So I wanted to spend just some more time for my hobbies and traveling. So that's why I wanted to start my own business.
Excellent. And wasn't it scary to go from a steady income to no income?
No, because I thought like, okay, many people, by the way, I didn't know anything about real estate when I first started, like nothing. But I thought like, okay, so many people doing this and earn money, so I can do it also.
And how long did it take before you were able to sell your first property?
I think 2 months, something like that.
And how did you make that happen? Were you calling people? How were you promoting yourself?
I was like, you know, it wasn't Keller Williams when I first started. After a year, we converted to Keller Williams. But again, we had a great team that times. And I just asked like what I have to do. And they said, okay, you should make phone calls all day long and try to find a good listing or a real buyer. Okay, I said, okay, I can do that. And I just found a buyer, and then I found the perfect home for her, and I sold the house. It was like $700,000 in those times.
Okay, and so basically they said you should make phone calls, and then you made phone calls.
Yeah. I'm a doer. Like they tell me something and I just do it.
Okay, and in Istanbul, is it common for people to be calling people they don't know? What's the reaction to people when you call them?
Actually, I called the people who I know, like my college friends, my I don't know, school friends. But it's the same in USA, I think, because again, people are a little bit nervous to call people they don't know, but some do, some don't, and who does the thing, they earn money, I think.
And what is your average sales price there, or what's the range? The cheapest property, the most expensive property? What do you sell?
For my team?
For your team.
Okay. We are doing luxury, like you know. So in my team, our average sales price is like $1 million.
Okay.
But the rates are changing, I mean, so fast. So it depends. But let's say average $1 million. And at most, I think $5 million. And at least it is like, I don't know, 500,000, something like that.
So we'll get back to what the money buys you in Istanbul, because I think we're all very curious as to how much you can buy for your money in Istanbul. But before we
I'm going to show you some photos for that. Yeah.
Great. But before we do that, you were telling me about the challenge of the fluctuating currency, that the lira against the dollar is moving around a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that does to your business?
Yeah, like 6 years ago, 2 Turkish liras was $1, 2 to 1. And today it's 7 to 1. So in 6 years, like it's more than triple now. It was 2 and now 7. 0.0 to $1, $1. Is it clear, like the rates?
Yes, yes, no, we
Okay.
understand.
Okay, perfect. So the problem is when you sell luxury, the people used to think and list and market their houses with the dollar currency. But 3 years ago, they changed the regulations. So now it's forbidden to put the house in US dollars to the market. So now we have to do it in Turkish liras, and every day, because it's like changing so fast, it's so difficult with the listing presentations for us. It's totally different than what you do in there in LA or New York. I know the prices are like, I don't know, more clear, let's say. You can even check the price from an app or I don't know, some websites. In Istanbul, it's totally impossible. You have to be an expert and you have to I don't know, follow everything, the last sales. And the difference, the biggest, another difference is that we don't have a system, an MLS system like yours in our country. So we cannot check the sold prices of the houses on any system. You have to know it by yourself. Like you have to research it.
How do you research it if there's no MLS?
Yes, there is no MLS because it's, I know, a little bit complicated for you. Sorry, guys.
But how do you, what do you do? Do you call the other agents? Do you call
Yes.
the owners?
You call the owners, they lie. They don't tell the truth.
Really? I'm shocked.
Yeah. I'm sure quite same in LA. Yeah, so you have to call the other agents like, okay, you had a listing there, for how much you sold it? You have to ask one by one to each
So your
agent.
agent relationships must be really important.
Very important. And of course, now Keller Williams is more important because we are in my market center, we are 178 people. So this is a huge number for Istanbul. The other Remax and Coldwell Banker, they're just 10, 15, 20, something like that, let's say. So to be crowded in the office, it's a huge advantage. At least you can check and talk with the friends easier.
So what happens, let's say you give somebody a price in lira and that price is equal to $1 million. And then a week later, the same price is only $900,000. Doesn't your client want to raise the price?
This is a very common case in my job. Now I think because the regulations changed 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, now the sellers are getting used to this change a little bit more. In the beginning, it was a huge problem. Now still they can say, no, I don't want to sell this house for this price. Let's increase the listing price. Sometimes we had to do that. I know it sounds very weird, but we do that. Sometimes we raise the price.
So are most people still thinking in dollars when they're doing the transaction, even though you have to promote it in lira?
All of them. I mean, all of my clients, the luxury ones, they think this way. Even today, we had a chat, we had a listing presentation with Zoom. And the seller told me that in 2014, he bought the condo for $500K in dollars. And now it's, I think, just give me a second. Today price, it is 285. So almost half of it in dollars. So it's so difficult to tell this story to the seller. Of course, they know the economy. They know everything, but still they keep saying, okay, but we paid this much to this house. And
of course, the buyers don't really care what they paid.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's difficult for me. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what your money actually does buy. And I know it's moving around a lot, but Could you talk to us about what $1 million would buy in Istanbul today?
Yes, sure. I just prepared some photos. If it's okay for everyone, I'm gonna show you some examples. Just give me a second. I'm gonna start with a $1 million house, which we sold yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And it was a good feeling to do this actually in these hard times. And we sold this house, this condo, in 60 days. I will show you, just give me a second. I don't know how you call it. Do you call it gated community? Like if there's a security and many apartments? Okay, this is a condo. It's a roof duplex, you call?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is the terrace and the living room. Again, inside the bedroom. This we can call a luxury condo. I don't know if it's also luxury to you, but for Istanbul, it's a luxury condo.
No, it's beautiful.
Okay, perfect.
It's really beautiful. It's
area of Istanbul is that?
Yeah, Istanbul.
Yeah, which area in Istanbul?
Ulus.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. This is the kitchen.
And Maral, how many square feet or how many square meters is the property?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you because we use a square meter, but I did the square feet. It's 3,700.
Okay, so yeah, this is much less money than you would spend in Los Angeles, certainly New York, San Francisco. You know, maybe other areas of the country it would be the same, but there's no way you could buy that in Los Angeles for that much money.
For 1 million, okay. But
yeah,
also, yeah, this one has no view, as you can see. I mean, no Bosphorus view, no sea view, which is the important thing actually in Istanbul. But it's a lovely house, I think.
And then what if somebody could pay more money? What would say, I don't know, $2 million get you?
Okay, I'm gonna show you one for 2 million. Okay, this is also one of the condos we sold last year. This is an luxury apartment again in the Bosphorus line. So you're gonna see the view, or let me show you first the view. Okay, so from bedroom you have this kind of view. This is the Bosphorus. And you have also your own garden. And again, it's a stylish house. These apartments are not so new in the Bosphorus line, but still
we can't see.
they prefer. Sorry?
We need to share your screen.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
And for those,
I was just looking at the photos. Sorry.
we Americans don't tend to be great on our geography. The Bosphorus is the waterway that connects the Mediterranean with the Black Sea. Is that right, Maral?
Yeah. Yeah, it also connects with the Brits. I can show you also that one. We have the Asian side and the European side. So I'm more expert on the European side. Let me show you. I also prepared, sorry, I'm gonna share my screen again. I want to show you the map. Maybe it would be better. This is the Bosphorus.
No.
Do you see? You
no,
don't
we're
see?
not seeing it. There you go.
Ah, you see? Okay.
And so Istanbul's
you
on
see-
both sides.
Yeah, both sides, Istanbul, and you see here the Brits. This, like you can imagine, maybe like Hudson River in New York. This
Right.
is, of course, huge, but still, the look is same. So I'm working on the left side, which is the European side, and the right side is the Asian part. So when we get closer, the look is something like that. You see the
Oh, wow.
Brits. Yeah, I work on this part, the other part. This is the Asian side. And here also you can see now here the European side is the right side. So these houses you see here, this is my expert area. And
Got
I
it.
also wanted to show you from here. This is the European side. The condo I'm gonna show you is like not one of these, but let's say similar. Like here are the condos and they have the view like this. Is it, I don't know, clear or a little bit complicated?
Yeah, no, we get it.
And now I'm going.
No, go ahead and show us the photo of the house you were about to show us.
Yes, yes. So this one is like one of those apartments, a garden duplex, and this is the garden. This is the living room.
Was that a private garden for this property? All of that grass?
Like private garden, but still the garden belongs to the apartment.
Okay.
This is the bedroom. This is another bedroom.
And about how much did this sell for?
$2 million.
Okay.
But these condos used to sold for $6 million, like 5 years ago.
Whoa.
So now too, so it's, I know, really complicated maybe for you, but with the dollar rates and these changes for us, it's an everyday story for us.
So Maral, there's a lot of wealthy people from outside of Istanbul that come and purchase in Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they coming there?
I think they love the city.
Okay, that's a good reason.
Yeah, they come. There are a lot of people. They come to visit like each year, again and again. They are in love, and they're in love with the Bosphorus, the view, and they feel like, okay, I have to buy something. I have to own something from this city. I think that's.
And is there one country that sends more people to you than other countries? Where are these people coming from?
Again, like there is no clear number in my mind, but still more from Russia or Iraq.
Russia and Iraq?
Iraq, yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, it depends.
And so they're coming for the Bosphorus, for the views of the Bosphorus and the feel of the city. And other than these incredible views and great weather, what do you love about living in Istanbul? Because you've spent a lot of time in New York, you've traveled the world. What do you love about your own city?
Istanbul is like very similar to New York, I think. You can see like many cultures in one city. The view is great. The food is great. Usually people are in love with the Turkish food. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's
yeah,
home for
it's
you.
home. Yeah.
And what's challenging about living in Istanbul? What makes it tough?
The economy, maybe.
Okay.
The politics. I mean, now in all around the world, actually, a lot of things going on, not only in Istanbul. But still, this is a common case, like the chaos, you know, for us. So as a real estate agent, I've been doing this for 7 years, only 7 years. And each year there is another challenge, economically or politically. It's been going on.
And that's a perfect transition to talk about what's going on right now. Are you able to show properties right now?
Yeah.
You closed one yesterday. Have you put anything into contract since the COVID?
Yeah, this was the one we did, but
it just went into contract. Okay.
Yeah, actually we did too, but this was coming from before COVID, so
okay.
I don't count that one. But also in our market center, I can tell like every week there are like, I don't know, many transactions with the rentals, but the sold houses, like 7, 8 houses sold each week after COVID, of course, before the numbers.
So people are doing business, and are you able to show
Sure.
property? Can you bring a buyer to a property?
Sure. The one we sold, of course, we are super careful. Like we are not doing the showings that often. We're trying to first send the virtual tours. We have 3D virtual tours. And after that, we send some videos, or even, usually we don't do this, but nowadays, even we start to talk about negotiation parts on the phone before we show the house.
Okay.
So we are trying to be clear that, okay, this buyer is serious buyer, a real buyer, and has money, and the money is ready. We're trying to also get that. And after all this process, if we are sure, then we ask the owner, and usually they say okay, because we put the face masks and the gloves and everything, like, you know, you do the same, I think.
Well, I think one of the, I don't know if it's a nice thing or a great thing about COVID, but one of the benefits, I think, is that it's connected all of us all over the world. We're all going through the same thing. We're all putting on masks. We're all having to be careful about the showings, and it's created a commonality of agents all across the world, because I'm having these conversations with people in many countries, and we're pretty much all going through the same thing. Let's talk about, you were talking about to make sure they're serious, they've got the money. How about financing? Talk to us about the interest rates in Istanbul, because you told me that they're a little bit higher than the United States.
A little bit, yeah.
What are interest rates for loans right now?
Yeah, the rates, this has nothing to do with COVID. It's always like this in Turkey. Of course, again, it's changed a lot, but always much, much more higher than US. The mortgage rates are around, let's say, 13 to 14 yearly base. And you cannot get mortgage for 30 years in Turkey. The most you can get for 15 years. Or let me give you another example. If you want to, let's say, you want to use $1 million. You want to loan $1 million. At the end of 15 years, you pay back $2 million.
Right.
With the rates, it becomes $2 million, like twice as much. So that's why, especially in luxury, people usually buy cash. I don't know if it's common in your country, but all of our, for example, yesterday, again, the buyer bought the house cash.
Got it. And how long does it take? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for wealthy people, it's not mostly the smartest choice to get mortgage. Right. So they
and if somebody wants to get a mortgage, how long does it take?
Oh, it's easy. It takes like 2-3 days.
Yeah, because they're paying 14%. So you can make it happen fast when people are paying that much money.
Exactly. Yeah, people are like, they are dying to give mortgage. That the bankers are calling us every day. Oh, please bring your clients to us, Maral, please. So yeah.
I'm sure. Maral, how many agents do you have on your team? I know you're growing a team, and you've only been in the business 7 years, but you're doing an amazing amount of sales. How many people on your team?
With me, we are 6 now. Sometimes we were like 8, but 6 to 8, let's say. And
are you looking to grow your team even bigger?
Sure, always. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And how about administration? How many do you have in administration?
It's also a little bit different than US. I have only one. I think she's also here with us, Teni. Yeah. Because we need the admin just only for the marketing part. For the paperwork, it's so easy in Turkey. when you compare to US. When you decide to, for example, the one we sold yesterday, we decided 4 days ago to sell the house and everything was clear. And we did the, I don't know how you call it, the title deed, the
Yep.
transaction, the
Yeah.
closing in 4 days.
Wow. Yeah,
So
no,
you
that's
can
quick.
close even in 2 days.
Okay. What about inspections?
If you use mortgage, there is an inspection. But if you don't, there is no inspection.
No inspections. People
No,
just buy the
nothing.
property and take their
Yeah.
chances.
Yeah, if you are a buyer, of course you ask me like, okay, if it's the proper, everything is like, I mean, legally, everything is okay. And I say, yes, there is no problem. I can give the title deed also to the buyer and he can go and check himself online or he can go to the municipality. But the checking process is like just 1 hour, 2 hours, something like that. So after the buyer checks or I said it's okay, sometimes they don't even check it. Then the other day we go all together, we apply to buy the house, and the same day in the afternoon you go and sign and everything finished.
So there's no title insurance.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. And what about inspections of properties? Do you have inspections of all the properties?
I mean, before we start to market.
No, like a buyer buys the house. How does he know the plumbing is okay? The electrical is okay. The roof is okay.
Sometimes I mean, my clients, because they are some VIP clients, let's say, they have their own architects and they call them, they check the stuff, but usually they trust us.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Don't try that in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So Maral, you've seen a lot of agents come and go, and what do you think the biggest mistake that new agents make?
Oh, they try to jump in luxury usually, and they feel like, okay, I can earn a lot of money when I sell this house. This is the case in Turkey. I don't know in your country, but in Turkey, yeah, usually they try to list an expensive listing, an expensive house in the beginning, and they don't try to understand the model, the system. Just they jump into a listing and try to sell that one.
Right, and 100% of their time is on that one listing. Everything else stops. Yes, I see that all the time. It's very common.
Case,
And for those of us who've been in the business, and even for newer agents, what do you think we can do to make the business more fun? Because we all, you know, especially those of us who do pretty well, we work really hard. And what do you do to make the business fun?
We work also very hard, but the number one thing is, I think we love what we do. We really have fun going to the office, being together with my team, to go to see a new listing, or, I mean, everything is fun for us actually. And we do a lot of celebrations, maybe, I don't know, every week or twice a week, let's say. But the main thing is that we love what we do.
I think those celebrations are really important. I think we don't do enough of that in our business. I know that it always feels like there's never a point to celebrate because the deal isn't finished until it closes. And by that time, you're already on to the next deal. And I think we need to celebrate ourselves and our colleagues more often than we do. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, in my market center, we celebrate everything.
Well, we need more Turkish culture to come to Beverly Hills. So Maral, you've come to Keller Williams national conferences many times, to Mega Camp, to Family Reunion. it's a long way from Istanbul.
Yeah.
What makes it worth your time and money to come to these conferences?
Sometimes only one you say also yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sometimes only one is enough for me from the conference. Just one maybe one point which inspires me. And when I go back, the best thing I do is that I do it like in the first second I go back to the office, first day. I started to do that plan actually. So of course we have our education in Istanbul. I think it's perfect. This is like, I understand this when I go to FR, when I see people around and in classes, I feel like, okay, I mean, I know most of this, they taught me also in my country. So I feel very good about that, first of all. And secondly, we don't have so many examples in Turkey, of course, like the mega agents or the big teams. So I want to see and be inspired from the true stories, big teams, like, I don't know, 40 people, 50 people, I've seen some, and try to set my own vision according to that. So
that's great. That's
yeah.
that's really great.
I'm
gonna everyone, I'm gonna play a short video about Istanbul that Maral provided me, and then we're gonna have a few questions. Hold on, I'll open it up for questions right after this.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, very short video from
Yes,
Turkey.
no, but some beautiful shots. The one shot. Whoops, sorry. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Okay, who has a question for Maral?
I got one, Lee.
Okay, go for it, David.
Hi, Maral. Thanks so much for being on with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Can you talk a little bit about what the average commission is for a listing agent and someone who's representing the buyer?
Mm-hmm. In your country, I think you get the commission from the seller, only seller, right?
Yes.
The seller pays, yes, the seller usually pays the commission.
Okay. In our country, the seller and the buyer pays. The regulation now is 2% from the buyer and 2% from the seller. But usually we get 3%, or we try to get, let's say, 2.5, 2.6. Because we offer some additional services. This is what we did. Because before we used to get 3 and 3, so total 6. Or I don't know, if you represent just one side, of course you get 3. But then they did this regulations, which is 2%, the like limit, which we were upset. So we tried to go on with our lawyer, and we tried to find a way to get 3%, still 3%. We are trying to do that.
And so is it, does it have to be equal between the buyer's commission and the seller's commission?
In our case, we don't even know what the other agent is like. Maybe she is taking like 5%, I don't know, or just 1, or I don't know, half. But
and
still,
what What if you represent both the buyer and
Yeah.
seller in the same transaction? Do each party pay you separately and neither one of them know which one's, oh, how much each one's paying you?
Yeah, they don't know. But sometimes we have some meetings. I think you don't have that because it's all a long process in your case. Sometimes we organize a meeting, which I don't prefer, with the seller and buyer. And sometimes they started to chat and they started to become friends. And it can be the case that one of them says, I'm paying 2, and the other says, I'm paying 3. Oh, really? And this story
That can
happens.
be an expensive conversation.
Yes, exactly. So we are not trying to do that, but it's the case sometimes.
Hey, Lee, I have a question.
Yeah, Steve. This is Steve from that little town above Los Angeles.
Perfect.
We prefer
see.
not to have our wagon hitched to Los Angeles. But yes, we are about 90 minutes north of Montecito, Santa Barbara. Hey, when we do have economic downturns, I tend to get a fair amount of what we call REO, which is foreclosures.
Okay.
Do you see, and it sounds like a lot of your business is cash business, but with your declining values, I mean, you were talking about values that were roughly 50, 60%. On those properties that are financed, do you see foreclosures? Because that's a pretty precipitous drop in value. That's a big value drop.
Yeah, but that value drop is in dollars. In Turkish liras, it's almost the same.
Okay.
Got it. So
I mean,
their bank payment hasn't changed.
I mean, of course, with the inflation and everything, if you think about it, still it's a drop. But if we only focus on Turkish liras, you're not gonna feel that drop like 2 million to 1 million. Even
Right, because your economy is moving with it rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Maral, it must make it awfully expensive for you to travel to the United States when your currency gets devalued like that, right?
It's getting more expensive each, yeah. But my sister lives in New York since 2000 for 20 years now. So I'm one way or the other, I'm coming to visit her. So I will be also there next year.
I have a question. Hi, Osap Maxwell from Beverly Hills office.
Hey,
My
Osap.
mother, hey, how are you? My mother and I are thinking of purchasing a vacation home. Our choices are Alexandria, Kenya, and Istanbul. My mother's favorite is, even though she's not been to Istanbul, she's not purchasing anything. Yes, she's not purchasing anything until she visits. Our hope was to visit this summer and take a look at it. She is in Dubai and she also has a property in Cairo. She will only be there maybe 2 months out of the year, if that. And she refuses to lease any of her properties. We usually have staff staying in our houses. So do you got, like, can you get an apartment or something close to the, like, what do you think when we get there? What should we expect? Like, how should we approach it? And like, what would that be? What would that be? Like, what would I do?
So she wants a vacation house? So why don't you go to the south of Turkey? There are beautiful places.
So you say south
places.
of Turkey, and so, but I think Istanbul is more of a city vibe. She has a house in Cairo. She has a house in Dubai. She prefers being in a city vibe. In a city,
then
because,
of course.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, as long as it has a view. I mean, it's the closest to Europe, but yet not the Middle East, because I see the Middle East is becoming a little bit conservative. I mean, Turkey's becoming conservative as well, but it's, you know what I mean, right? It's easier to be there.
Turkey, huge part of Turkey is conservative, but where we live and where the city center is not conservative. So it's like Europe, what I see, but the truth of Turkey, the rest, I don't see, which I don't see is
Right.
conservative. Yes.
It's conservative. Yeah.
Maral,
Yeah.
Osab mentioned that her mother doesn't want to lease out her property, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Do you guys allow Airbnb in Istanbul?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your
Yeah.
clients lease out their houses?
Yeah. Usually, the visitors come and just do Airbnb, and then they have to understand that they have to realize which part of the city they want to buy a house. It's the usually case. And while they are in Airbnb, they started to search for the house. Because Istanbul is really huge. Some like more the European part, some like more the Asian part, because with the bridge it's connected, and it's like just, I don't know, I mean, with traffic more, but without traffic it's 10 minutes by car.
Right.
Don't think like Asia and Europe, it's just 10 minutes. So you have to, I think I would do first Airbnb, and then I would decide which district I like more, and then find the perfect house.
How much time do you think you will need to do that? Because for as you said, it's like 3 days. You come with your cash, you sign in, but how much time do you really need to?
But this is for citizens. If you are a foreigner, the procedure is a bit longer, but also we can solve that in 3 weeks, 1 month.
Osab, I'll give you Maral's contact information.
Please,
she's fantastic, and she's super responsive.
Sorry, and I'm doing inspection, so I'm hot over here. Sorry.
That's good news. I'm always thrilled to hear people are doing business right now.
I know. Sorry.
And,
No, it's okay. Nice to meet you, sir.
And anybody else have a question for Maral?
Yes, it's Sharon here from Beverly Hills office. Hi, Maral.
Hi, I think, sorry, you are on the second page?
Yes, I don't have a picture.
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
Okay, actually, I've lived in Turkey for 6 years. I went to college there in Ankara and ODTÜ, so I'm very familiar with the culture and language. I have actually a property in Istanbul, in Büyükçekmece, and I'm gonna need some help because I'm in the process of doing something. So yeah, I would love to have your information to get in contact with you to talk about my condo in Büyükçekmece.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, it's pretty far from my expert area.
Yes.
But still, of course, I would do my best to help you, to connect you with the right agent there. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, we can help you, of course.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
See, this is the difference between Maral and all of us. All of us would go, oh yeah, that's my area, no problem, I'll show it.
Yes, that's
I wouldn't.
It's same in Turkey. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else has a question for Maral? Well, Maral, if nobody else has a question, I just want to thank you. It's late at night there, or maybe for Turkey, maybe it's not late, but I'm finding that these days are very long now.
Yeah.
And it's so great to talk to you. And I look forward to seeing you in person. Hopefully in Istanbul. I've never been. And
you have to come, all of you.
I second that, Maral.
Hi.
Let's go visit.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Please, be our guest.
That's my girlfriend lobbying for the next trip.
That's right.
Just let me show you, if you have just one more minute.
Yes, absolutely.
One more mention in the Bosphorus line, which is like around $10 million, so that you can have an idea, like for $10 million, what you can get. And also, this is why I wanted to show you the mentions on the Bosphorus line, like this. These kind of houses, I mean, mentions. I don't know if it's correct to call it.
That is correct.
Yeah. So these are the most expensive ones in the Bosphorus line. This is this one here. It's a very old one. This one. This is $100 million. This is the most expensive mansion in Istanbul.
And why is that $100 million?
It's huge. The lot is huge. And because those houses are usually next to each other. This one has a huge garden. It's more than 100 years old, of course. It's like 150 years old. And this is the most expensive one. It's for sale, but of course it's overpriced. It should be, I don't know, $70 million, something like that, just to give you an idea. And also I just wanted to show you one smaller one for $10 million again, so that you see an example. I'm gonna share the screen, this one. Okay. So for example, this one. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, when you live in a mansion, one of these kinds, you have the feeling of this one. You can also swim, by the way.
And did this one sell or is it for sale?
This is for sale. Yeah, it's like $9-10 million.
Depending on which day of the week.
Exactly. We never talk with dollars. Yeah, this is a huge problem for us. Just wanted to show you so that you have an, I don't know, idea.
I'm glad you did. That would be a great one to refer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Really
You're welcome.
appreciate it. I think everybody appreciates meeting you this way. And obviously, if anybody has anything for Turkey, you're the person to talk to.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for
So
listening.
long. Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you.
Teşekkürler Maral.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.